This leads to the sober state feeling extremely uncomfortable and abnormal, and the intoxicated state feeling more normal and comfortable, which contributes to the abuse of alcohol. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Rhea the Science Girl, here to talk to you about all things science. Now, before we get started, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button down below because it does help me out quite a lot. Without further ado, let's get right into today's topic. Welcome to the series
Addiction, disease or a choice?
Where we find out whether addiction is a
disease or a choice.
Today we're talking about a substance that causes 3.3 million premature deaths all around the world per year. That's about 5.9% of all global deaths. It is the third leading preventable cause of death in the United States. And globally, it is the #1 leading cause of premature death among people between the ages of 15 and 49. This substance has been linked to a number of other diseases, such as liver damage, kidney damage, and cancer. It has also been known to contribute to other acute consequences, such as sexual assault, domestic abuse, and injuries. Today, the spotlight is on alcohol. We're going to be talking about what alcohol is, how it interacts with our brain, how it can become addictive, and whether it is a
disease or a choice.
So in general, alcohol is just an organic compound that has a hydroxyl group attached to a carbon chain. However, when we say alcohol, we're usually referring to ethanol, which is a specific type of alcohol. Due to its size and other chemical properties, ethanol molecules can actually pass through our blood-brain barrier and influence the production or inhibition of neurotransmitters, which is what produces its intoxicating effects when we drink alcohol. Many studies have shown that human beings are social creatures and that we thrive on social interactions. Alcohol has become a common factor during these social interactions and gatherings. This culture that generally begins in college carries on well into adulthood and can sometimes lead to detrimental effects. Now, in moderate amounts, research has actually shown that alcohol can be good for us. For example, red wine has been known to be really good for our hearts and our gut microbiome, which I talk about in my video about how the gut affects our health, and whiskey or brandy has been used for generations to sedate babies who are teething. However, the keyword here is moderate amounts. Let's start by talking about how alcohol even gets to the brain. So you finally get to the bar at midnight after telling your friends you'll meet them there at 10, but you didn't even start getting dressed until 10:30. You know what I'm talking about. We've all been there before. I've been there before. So anyways, you get to the bar at midnight and all your friends are already drunk by the time you get there and you gotta catch up quick. So you start off strong with a Long Island iced tea. You drink your beverage and it goes straight to your stomach. The alcohol gets absorbed into your bloodstream through the digestive tract, especially the small intestine. Fun fact, many of you must have heard that drinking on an empty stomach gets you intoxicated faster. Now, this happens because the pyloric sphincter, which is a muscle that allows the contents of the stomach to enter the small intestine, closes after a meal. So only a small fraction of the alcohol consumed enters the small intestine after a meal as compared to drinking on an empty stomach. After being absorbed into the blood, the alcohol goes straight to the liver and gets converted into acetate. Your liver is constantly eliminating alcohol by converting it into acetate, which can then be further broken down into water and carbon dioxide and be removed from the body. P.S. This is why you pee more when you drink. However, if you begin to consume alcohol faster than the liver can metabolize it, the remaining alcohol then goes to the brain and other organs in our body. There are two main types of neurotransmitters in our brain: excitatory neurotransmitters and inhibitory neurotransmitters. Alcohol increases the levels of inhibitory neurotransmitter GABA, which results in us being less likely to respond to stimuli around us. It also decreases the levels of excitatory neurotransmitter glutamate, which further amplifies the sedentary effect of alcohol. This is why alcohol makes us feel relaxed in moderate doses doses, fall asleep in higher doses, and black out at toxically high doses, which impedes the brain activity needed for survival. This imbalance of neurotransmitters affects the cerebral cortex of our brain, which is responsible for thinking, decision-making, emotions, and the 5 senses. This is why we tend to make questionable decisions and say some questionable things when we're drunk, which we would normally not do when we're sober. It also affects the hippocampus, which is responsible for memories. This is why we don't remember things clearly when we're intoxicated. Lastly, it affects our cerebellum, which is responsible for coordinating voluntary movements, such as walking and picking up things. Just like other addictive substances and behaviors, alcohol use produces a surge of dopamine levels in our brain's reward system. Now, I won't go too deep into the effects of dopamine on our brain's reward system because I did address it in my last 2 videos, the one about the brain of an addict and the other one about cocaine addiction, so feel free to check them out. However, dopamine does play a large role in making us repeat behaviors. This is why, even after getting that nasty hangover and swearing to never drink again, everyone knows you're gonna drink again. In addition to dopamine increase, another element that plays a huge role in alcohol addiction is that imbalance of excitatory and inhibitory neurotransmitters that we spoke about earlier. An equal level of excitatory and inhibitory neurotransmitters is extremely crucial for normal human brain function. Now, in my last video about cocaine addiction, I talked about how our bodies love to maintain homeostasis. So upon constant alcohol abuse, the neurotransmitters in our brains are constantly off balance. So our body compensates for that by decreasing the natural levels of GABA inhibitory neurotransmitters and increasing the natural levels of glutamate excitatory neurotransmitters. When this happens, the intoxicated state becomes your new normal because that is the only time where your neurotransmitters are balanced. And the sober state becomes the imbalanced state where your brain function and activity depletes. This leads to the sober state feeling extremely uncomfortable and abnormal, and the intoxicated state feeling more normal and comfortable, which contributes to the abuse of alcohol. As I say in most of my videos, it is good to know all of the facts and figures before actually participating in potentially harmful behaviors. See, alcohol abuse can lead to several other serious health conditions such as liver cirrhosis, cancer, increased risk of stroke, alcoholic hepatitis, and a countless number of other issues. Now, don't get me wrong, because I love my occasional glass of wine or a glass of whiskey, and I love to add alcohol to social situations with my friends and family. However, always remember to drink responsibly and do not drink and drive. So until next time, stay safe. Rhea the Science Girl out.